Is inflammation key in children with autism? Hi, my name is David, and we're going to talk about this topic at this moment. Let me put it aside. And inflammation is a key factor in children with autism. In the previous video, I, I talked about the topic of inflammation as the silent brain killer in autism. And inflammation is necessary for regular functions in the body, but when inflammation stays at a high level, for a prolonged period of time, then it will cause harm in the body. And this is a key imbalance in children with autism. And what I showed in the previous video is like the higher the inflammation, the higher the symptoms of autism. The higher the inflammation, the higher the severe symptoms of autism. So if you see kids with a high or severe level of autism, that means that there is a higher level of inflammation in the body, and that's one of the area that we need to work, because it is crucial. If we want to have a healthier autism community, we need to cut down inflammation, and nutrition is key for this area. So let's keep talking about it. Um, if you see, when I talk about that inflammation was high in the brain, also I want to talk about in this video that inflammation in autism is not only high in the brain, but it's also high in the periphery. That means, outside the brain, in the body, is at high levels. Let's look at this study that it was close to 1,400 individuals with autism, so close to 1,400 patients with autism, and they measure inflammatory markers. That means, like markers of inflammation. That when the body have high levels of inflammation, then these markers are going to be at a high level. And they measure something called interferon I1, that's interleukin 1, interleukin 6, and TNF, or tumor necrosis factor. And these are all biomarkers of inflammation. So they measure all of that in 1,393 patients with autism, and guess what? They show with higher levels of all of these markers. They all have higher levels of these inflammatory markers when they compare it with children or teenagers without autism. So as you see, inflammation in children with autism is not only high in the brain, but it's also at a higher level in the body, like outside the brain. So as you see, inflammation is a key factor in children with autism. So I want to make you aware of that, because the more that we are aware of a particular topic, the more that we can do. So let me show you. As you see, inflammation is like a vicious cycle with something called the mitochondria dysfunction. Mitochondria are like small organelles inside the cells that produces energy. Mitochondria are small organelles inside the cells that produces energy. The issue is that the higher the inflammation, as you can see in the slide, the higher the inflammation, the more mitochondrial dysfunction is going to happen. So the higher the inflammation, the higher the mitochondrial dysfunction. That means that the body are not going to be able to produce enough energy for all the different areas that the body has to work. For example, mitochondria are key for brain function. Mitochondria are key for brain function. And if you think about it, the brain takes close to more than 20% of all your energy. That's for like brain function. So if you think about it, if you got higher levels of inflammation, then the brain is not going to be able to produce a lot of energy, and that This is happening frequently in children with autism, that up to 80% of them have difficulty making energy. And that's why it's so hard for them to concentrate, to focus. And as you can see, nutrition has a lot to do with this. For example, high levels of sugar or refined carbohydrate, bread, flour products, sodas, junk food, fast food, all of that will increase inflammation, and that will increase issues with the mitochondria. So definitely, they're gonna have a hard time concentrating and be like focused. And that's why children with autism, you can say that they have their brain on fire because they got high levels of inflammation. So if you think about it, and if they're eating a lot of food that are increasing inflammation, so then that's like adding gasoline to a fire. That is like adding gasoline to a fire. So it is crucial for children with autism to have a healthier diet, like rich in omega-3 fats, rich in turmeric, ginger, olive oil, a low-carb diet. These are all healthy things that you can do for a better brain function. But let's continue. And this is a diagram that I like, that you can see when you're eating like a diet that is high in inflammatory food, like fast food, lots of refined carbs, lots of sodas, and lots of fried foods, all of that. As you can see down below here, you're going to be low in energy. It's like a battery. The battery is going to be really low in energy, and the brain is the organ that consumes a lot of energy. So it's going to be very difficult for children with autism to concentrate and to focus in school. Now, if we switch to a healthier diet, a diet that is rich in, for example, in avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, broccoli, all the good stuff, then your brain's energy will go up, and then they're going to be able to concentrate and focus. So as you can see, the level of energy is quite important in children with autism, and you can make a huge difference in them by starting to offering healthier foods. And this is applicable for autism and for all of us. As you may be a witness when you start to eat something that is not that healthy, then you feel in an hour really without energy, all sleepy, and that's part of it. But the issue with autism that they already come since they were born with high levels of inflammation. So the issue is that we can maybe deal with it, but with them, because they have a high levels of inflammation since they were born, then when they add unhealthy food, that will increase inflammation, and that's why you can see like difficult behavior when they start eating lots of candies or a lot of unhealthy food, and they can could have like episodes of aggression and lots of hyperactivity, and that's the difference when the brain doesn't have the nutrients that it needs. And for example, unhealthy foods are not only depleted of nutrients. Unhealthy food will deplete the little nutrients that you already have in your body. So let me say it again. Unhealthy foods are not only depleted of healthy nutrients. Unhealthy foods will deplete the little nutrients that you may have. For example, if you're eating unhealthy food like junk food constantly, then your body will make a huge effort to produce energy because it's having difficulty because you're adding high inflammatory foods. So the body will consume other nutrients like more magnesium to try to make energy, to produce energy. So that's why your body will be more depleted of healthy nutrients if you're constantly eating junk food. Let me show you the next slide. So as you see, nutrition is a crucial factor in children with autism, and we have to start moving, from a high inflammatory state, from a high inflammation to low inflammation, and you have to think, in a positive way, because I know that sometimes, it's a little bit hard as a parent, because I'm a parent of a child, a teenager with autism. But yeah, but you can work, with your team, with physical therapists, and behavior therapists in finding ways to add, healthy nutrients to the diet. It's going to take time, but it is incredibly important. My son improved dramatically from a severe level of autism to a mild level of autism by improving his diet, by adding healthy oils like omega-3 fatty acids, by adding olive oil, by adding broccoli. And it took time, it took months, it took a lot of effort. But yeah, but it can happen. It can happen, and it will make a huge difference. And yeah, so I want to encourage you to make a difference, and keep trying, and to improve your child's diet, and it is incredibly important. So I want to share also, that I got my book, it's called Resilient Brain, and it's all about my son's story with autism, and I include, lots of reference and all that I did to benefit my son with autism. So stay in touch with me. I also, down below, I left a link with 2 free reports on how you can use nutrition to benefit children on the spectrum. So please download that free report. And also you can go to Amazon to buy Resilient Brain. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to communicate with you. So I appreciate it. Bye-bye.